Hi everyone, I am Nico from the blog documentingsimpleliving.com, where I talk about simplifying life in the modern world. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make elderberry syrup gummies. So the first part of this process is to actually make elderberry syrup. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we will make the gummies after we have the syrup ready. So what you will need for making elderberry gummies is dried elderberries, cinnamon sticks, shredded ginger, I like to use fresh, and cloves. Honey is also great to help the syrup be a bit sweeter, although of course it's not recommended that you give younger kids honey, especially ones that are below 1 year old, so keep that in mind. You also need gelatin or some sort of equivalent, so you could use arrowroot powder, for example. We have access to grass-fed beef gelatin, so I'm going to be using that today. And you also need silicone molds. The first thing I'm going to do is to shred about 2 tablespoons of ginger. There is a free printable recipe card on documentingsimpleliving.com, so don't worry about remembering all these measurements. You can just go to the blog and print that off or take a photo or whatever. I've put a link directly to that post in the description below. So the rest of the process to make elderberry syrup is ridiculously simple. All you need to do is take a pot and add 1 cup of dried elderberries, 2 cinnamon sticks. You can also use powdered cinnamon if you don't have cinnamon sticks on hand, and you would use about 1 tablespoon of powdered cinnamon. Your 2 tablespoons of shredded or ground ginger, and half a tablespoon of cloves. To the pot, you add 4 cups of water and then put it on your stove, bring it to a boil, and then reduce to a simmer and let it simmer away for about an hour. Now I'm going to strain off my elderberry syrup. It's been simmering for about an hour, and I'm going to let it cool. Once it is cooled, you can add in the honey if you would like to. I sometimes add in about a half cup of honey to this recipe, but today I am just going to omit the honey completely. When we make this, we're going to have some residual elderberry syrup, so you can just bottle this extra syrup and put it into your fridge and consume elderberry syrup that way as well. And elderberry syrup will last about 2 to 3 months in an airtight container in the fridge. After you have strained off your elderberry syrup, you want to reserve 1 cup of it for making the gummies. So after you have removed 1 cup of your elderberry syrup, what you want to do is remove 1/3 cup from the cooled elderberry syrup that you've already taken out and put it into a separate bowl. And this is to ensure that you can slowly mix in the gelatin to the entire rest of this 1 cup of syrup. So we just do it slowly. So to this 1/3 cup, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of gelatin. I'm going to use a fork to mix this gelatin into the elderberry syrup. So to the mixture of gelatin and elderberry syrup, I'm going to add about 2/3 cup of hot water and mix that in. It actually smells like Christmas because of the cloves and the cinnamon. It smells really delicious. Finally, I'm going to add this mixture of hot water and gelatin into the rest of the 1 cup that we reserved from our elderberry syrup. It's smart to put your silicone molds on something sturdy and flat. I'm going to use this wooden cutting board, or you could also use a baking sheet, because after we put the syrup into the molds, we're going to put them into the fridge, and it'll just help prevent anything from spilling if you put it on something that's flat. Elderberry syrup gummies will last about 2 months in the fridge. You can put them into a freezer-safe container and put them in the freezer as well, and they'll last about 7-8 months. After a few hours, just pull them out of the fridge and carefully remove each gummy from the mold. If your gummies sort of break apart when you're doing this, it's usually because they just need a bit more time in the fridge. So put them back in the fridge for another hour or so and then try again. you so much for stopping by today, and I will speak to you in the next Documenting Simple Living video.